And now that we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the time has come to rank all. Holy monkey alive. 28 chapters of the MCU. I guess we better get rolling. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my ranking of all 28 chapters of the MCU. If you're new to my channel, I'm calling them chapters of the MCU because I'm ranking the shows and the movies together because all of them are chapters telling the Marvel Cinematic Universe story. So we have 28 so far, and I'm gonna rank all of them. And there's bound to be some controversy in there, so it's gonna be a good time. How would you rank all 28 of these movies? Let's do that in the comments. And right before we hit this ranking, I gotta say a huge thank you to a brand new patron of mine, The Anime Guy. Thank you so much, The Anime Guy, for jumping on board and becoming a patron of Durbania. If you wanna check out my Patreon page and the different rewards for different levels of giving, I have the link to that in my description. Number 28, Thor, The Dark World. 27, Captain Marvel, and 26, The Incredible Hulk. Now, these are the bottom three on my list, and they're kind of interchangeable there at the bottom three, but they're in the bottom three because they're the movies I go to the least. But that doesn't mean I completely dislike them. Thor, The Dark World, yeah, it's a little bit vanilla, but come on, Thor and Loki together are awesome in this movie. I think Tom Hiddleston, again, just steals the show. His scenes shine, so even though it is a little bit bland, Thor, The Dark World, it still has some stuff in it that's really good. I really like The Incredible Hulk. I like Edward Norton's take on it. I like how that movie's a bit more gritty. Yeah, I like Captain Marvel. Don't love it, but overall, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. 25, Thor Ragnarok. 24, Iron Man 2. 23, Black Widow. And 22, Iron Man 3. It was a tough call for me to take Black Widow, which was at number 17, and move it down the list to number 23. The reason I did it, my whole reasoning behind that is I've only seen Black Widow one time. Only saw it once on the big screen. I didn't want to pay the 30 extra bucks to watch it on Disney Plus, and I didn't feel the huge desire to go see it again. And normally with an MCU movie, I want to go see it again. I just didn't quite have that desire with Black Widow. It's not a bad movie. It's a good movie. It has great action sequences. I like the story, and well, the one thing I don't like about the action sequences is we have like Taskmaster shooting a rocket, and it hits the car that Black Widow's in, it blows up, and it rolls, and then she gets out without a scratch and fights. It kind of devalues those in the MCU that have power when she that is immortal can survive these insane things. Anyway, the point is that's why I moved it to number 23. I did like the movie, it's just weird that I didn't have that desire to see it again. Also, this feels like it's a second movie. Feels like we should have had a first movie where we did spend just a little bit more time with her origins and her beginnings. We got a little bit of that in this movie, but there's just so much there with the Red Room and everything. And so it would have been nicer just to get a little bit more into that before we got into this and the shock and awe that the Red Room and all of that is actually still here. And yes, I always got to legitimize Thor Ragnarok being as low on my list as it is. To clarify, I don't dislike Thor Ragnarok. I like it. My biggest problem with Thor Ragnarok is I feel like there is a lack of balance in the tone. I do love the comedy of the movie. I love seeing the funnier side of Thor. But take Infinity War, for instance. When you watch Infinity War, you have the funnier side of Thor. You have Thor and Rocket together, which is one of the most hilarious teams. But you also have those moments where you have Thor and Rocket talking just about kind of the pain Thor is going through. So you actually feel the weight and the heaviness of what is going on. So with the weight and the humor, there was that balance. With this movie, I don't feel like there was that balance. I feel like every time it started to feel a little bit of weight, something slapstick and funny would happen. That's why I have Thor Ragnarok here, because it just feels like it has that lack of balance. I don't dislike it, and I do have a good time when I go back and watch it. Number 21, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 20, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and number 19, Ant-Man. Now, this is the category of the MCU that I call my I don't have to think movies. So, they're not the best. They definitely have some weaknesses or whatever, but whatever. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the weaknesses these particular movies have. I think these movies are just fun to watch. So, when I don't want to think or I want to have something on in the background while I'm doing something else and just laugh while something is happening, that's what I can do. I can pop these movies in. I can have fun with them. I don't have to think about it. I can just enjoy them for what they are. Number 18, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And number 17, here it is, the new one, Shang-Chi. Now this one took Black Widow's place at number 17. Like I said, it just didn't quite crack the top 10. And I said it was kind of a mediocre movie, like when I take it and compare it to the rest of the MCU, but I do find that I kind of want to see it again. I want to take my wife to the theater and watch this movie again with her and kind of see how it sits with me the second time I watched it. I mean, I do like you got a little bit of everything. Sci-fi, fantasy, martial arts, and superhero. I liked the character arcs and the journeys that they went on. So if you want more details on that and what I thought of this movie, check out my review of the movie. 16, Captain America, the First Avenger. 15, WandaVision, and 14, Loki. Now, WandaVision and Loki probably are the most interesting of the MCU shows to me so far. WandaVision, I had a tough time getting into it to start. Like, the first 3 episodes, it just felt so slow. It's like, I get the gimmick, I get the show, can we just get into the MCU stuff? But once we hit episode 4 and on, I was hooked. And in fact, all of that was so good, it went back and made the first 3 episodes more enjoyable. So I've gone back and watched it beginning to end a couple times now, and now I enjoy those first 3 episodes. So it's really interesting getting back into WandaVision, but it's really interesting to think about WandaVision and Loki together. Like, I've seen YouTube videos where people talk about how He Who Remains, and when he says, oh, this is it. This is that point where I don't know what's going to happen anymore, and you hear that thunder in the background. Some people say you could perfectly time it so that scene that Wanda becomes the Scarlet Witch, like, that's that moment of unpredictability because she is this Nexus being. I love the theories that we could bring out of that. I love how Loki brought chaos to the universe and it became the multiverse. And we saw all those wild branches and all the promises of what that's going to bring us. So Wanda and Loki in some ways seem to go hand in hand together in changing the face of the MCU and where phase 4 is going to go. So that's why those shows are probably the most interesting to me so far. Number 13, Thor. Number 12, SpiderMan Homecoming. And number 11, Iron Man. I do love the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I just think those are great movies. Tom Holland is my favorite actor to see portray both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And I just love Spider-Man Homecoming, bringing in Iron Man and letting Iron Man be another father figure to him, a mentor to him in his superhero journey. And I really liked that dynamic. I even like the AI Karen in his suit. Spider-Man Homecoming is the first of my favorite live-action version of Spider-Man. Number 10, Avengers. Number 9, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 8, Black Panther. And number 7, Doctor Strange. Yeah, I definitely like Age of Ultron a little bit better than the first Avengers. I love the first Avengers. I just love Ultron. I thought they did a great job with him. I thought James Spader was a terrific Ultron. I liked bringing Vision to life and how they brought Vision to life. The seeds that are sown for Civil War, how Tony will do whatever it takes to make things right. So maybe we have to learn the means don't justify the ends through Ultron. So to me, Ultron just has a lot of things in it that make it really interesting. I did love Black Panther. I loved exploring Wakanda. I loved the musical score in that movie. I thought it had a great villain that had a lot of depth and motivation. And I love Doctor Strange. I love the visuals on that movie. I love Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange. Overall, it's one of my favorite of the MCU movies, and having gotten him a little bit more in What If, and I'm excited to see where we're going to go with this with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. There's just a lot of things I'm looking forward to with Doctor Strange, so this kind of just elevates this movie. Number 6, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 5, Spider-Man Far From Home. Guardians of the Galaxy is forever one of my biggest MCU surprises, and it's one of my favorites, but Far From Home is probably my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie. Recently, I got a comment, somebody asking, what am I missing with Spider-Man Far From Home? You're not missing anything. There is that stupid, idiot, ridiculous plot where Tony Stark gives a teenage high school kid Edith, this super drone system. And now we are living out the consequences of that because, of course, he wasn't super wise with Edith and who he gave it to. So I get it. I understand it. But I kind of like it. It just feels like, yeah, Tony would do that because he trusted Peter Parker. Should he have done it? Absolutely not. Is it believable that he would? I don't find it that hard to believe. Is it believable what Peter Parker did with it? 110%. and how he took it all to heart and he's just trying to make things better. Plus those epic endings where we got Skrulls and Spider-Man's identity revealed. I am super excited for No Way Home. Like, that trailer was amazing. What did you think? Are you excited? Number 4, Captain America Civil War, and number 3, The Winter Soldier. What I love about Civil War is it really shows us united we stand, divided we fall. So you couldn't destroy the Avengers from without. They were destroyed within, from the infalling and the fight. And the moment they fell, that's when their greatest enemy arrived, and they were not prepared for the fight. So it's really interesting how it leads into that. I put The Winter Soldier above it because I just love it. Oh my gosh, I love taking a bright, cheery Captain America, putting him in this dark, gritty world where things aren't so black and white anymore, but him still being that beacon of hope and being an inspiration to that world, plus all the awesome, gritty spy action thrown into a Captain America movie. Yeah, it was incredibly interesting. Number 2, Avengers Infinity War, and number 1, Endgame. These last 2 Avengers movies lived up. Think about that for a second. Just think about that. How hard it would be for these movies to live up. 10 years of buildup. 10 freaking years. And they lived up. And Endgame, I think, was a great conclusion to the Infinity Saga. And now here we are going into this new, multiverse saga, whatever they're going to end up calling it. But Endgame was a great ending, sowing the seeds for some new beginnings as well. So it was very cool how they used Endgame. So overall, those are my favorite movies. I just love the emotion of Infinity War and Endgame. I love the action. I love the characters. Infinity War divided the heroes into their best groupings, and it kept the pacing going. Endgame intentionally slowed that pacing down because now we got to deal with the fact that half the universe has been gone for 5 years, and now we got to bring that half of the universe back, and the plan we're formulating to do that, the interesting look at time travel, and then that epic final battle. Oh my gosh. One of the things I love about that final battle is where you have those that were dead now raised back. Those that were disintegrated have returned, and they've come to take out the enemy. What I really love about that is it reminds me a little bit of the End Times. I did a video about that called Endgame End Times. Love it if you would check that one out. So that's my ranking of all 28. Yes, I did not rank What If. That's because the season is not complete. When that season is complete, I'll do another ranking and I'll throw What If in there. What did you think of this ranking? How would you rank all 28 chapters of the MCU worst to best? Let's do that in the comments. While you're there, hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian and hit that bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next movie review, ranking video, theological analysis, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.